What up, Giants fans? You're watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. As always, give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm trying to get my Twitter cloud up, and I want to be able to follow back some Giants fans. So give me a follow and DM me playoffs. So I know you came from this video, and I'll give you a follow back. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk. I have 4 reasons why I believe the Giants can win games in the playoffs. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm going to tell you why I think the Giants can win games in the playoffs. And then we're going to touch on, should the Giants bench, rest, start? What should they do with the starters? Let's start with that. As Pat Leonard reported today after Giants practice, that maybe they might not be playing the start. He said, what I just saw at practice confirms for me that Giants will likely rest several starters versus the Eagles. We'll cover it in today's Daily News. Pat Leonard saying that he believes from what he saw that the Giants are not going to be starting their starters. Well, Art Stapleton, who's a much better beat reporter, said the sense I get from the Giants locker room and talking to those within the organization, they are going to do what's best for this team as it pertains to being ready for the playoffs. Intention is not to lay down versus the Eagles, but not going to go full bore and risk their own chances. So, look, I would rest the top-end starters. I don't need to see Saquon Barkley play. I don't need to see Andrew Thomas. Evan Neal's been battling with an injury. Might as well sit him. I don't need to see Saquon Barkley, Leonard Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jalen Smith, for all that matters. I mean, he's the only real inside linebacker we have at this point. What a wild career he's had at this point. But I don't need to see any of the top-end starters play. And I was talking to our NFL hosts here in the office today. I was like, what would y'all do if you were the coach of the Giants? And some played said start, some said rest. And there's a good argument for both sides. But I do want to make this abundantly clear. This is different than 2007, when the Giants matched up with the unbeaten New England Patriots in Week 17. Giants battle them down to the wire. Patriots win in the regular season. Giants match up against them in Super Bowl 42 and then win the championship. Much different then. The Giants were deep. They had players throughout the roster. This team is very thin. They are not a deep team. They cannot afford an injury to any starter on this 53-man roster if they want to compete in the NFL playoffs. Rest the starters. Make sure you're ready to go for the playoffs, because no matter what happens this week, Giants are going to be the 6th seed. They're going to be going on the road to either play the Vikings, the Niners, maybe even the Cowboys or the Eagles, but it sounds like it's going to be the Minnesota Vikings. I would rest the starters. I have no reason to play them. What would you do? What to do with the starters? If you were Brian Daboll, what would you do? Type R for rest, type P for play. I want to hear from you down in the comment section. Coming up on today's show, I'm going to give you some reasons why I believe the Giants can win in the playoffs. It takes a certain type of football team to win in the playoffs, and I think the Giants meet those requirements. I think they're going to win a game in the playoffs. It's going to be awesome. We're going to end somebody's season in their house. We'll talk about that in a second. But first, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Fume. Go to tryfume.com/chatsports. That's tryfum.com/chatsports and use the promo code chatsports for 10% off. Be smart. Don't start. Kick the habit and put it out before it puts you out. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. Fume is not a vape. It's a non-electronic device designed to transform your negative habits. Instead of pods filled with potentially harmful chemicals like a vape, Fume uses cores infused with plants like peppermint and cinnamon for delicious natural flavors. Fume's new version 2 model is snappy and tactile. With an adjustable airflow dial and a magnetic end cap, your fingers will always have something to do. It's Fume's goal to make switching easy and even enjoyable. They have thousands of 5-star reviews from people just like you who've successfully switched when other solutions just didn't work. Head to tryfume.com/chatsports and use code chatsports to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. The Journey Pack comes with 3 unique flavors and the new version 2 Fume to help kickstart your positive habits. That's tryfum.com journey.com/chatsports. Use promo code chatsports for 10% off the Journey pack. The box is awesome. It's a handheld device. It fits in your hand perfectly. Go to tryfum.com/chatsports. That link is in the comments and description of today's show. Let's get into my favorite part of the show because, look, everyone in the office, the Giants can't win in the playoffs. They're not beating the Vikings. They'll get smoked by the Niners. And you know what I got to tell all those haters? Go F yourself. That's what I got to say because the Giants can win in the playoffs because it takes a certain type of team, a certain type of swag, a certain type of coaching staff and play style to win games in the playoffs, like the opposite of what the Dallas Cowboys are. That's what the Giants are. Number one most important thing to win football games in January, take care of the rock. Take care of the football. Don't turn it over. No fumbles by Richie James on special teams. Win the turnover battle, and 9 times out of 10, you're going to win the football game. This season, when the Giants win the turnover battle, they're 6-1. And you know why that is? Because they're a team that doesn't really have a lot of room for error. And that's not an insult. It's just the fact of the matter. Why I think the Giants can win? Because they take care of the football. They have 15 turnovers this year, which is the second fewest in the National Football League. And that's a big credit to number 8, Daniel Jones. I used to call him Dan Jones. He had to earn the IEL. Now it's Daniel Jones because he's playing like a franchise quarterback. When you complete 67% of your passes and you throw for 3,200 yards and 15 touchdowns and run for another 700 and 7 rushing touchdowns, that's awesome. But when you only have 8 turnovers on the season, 3 fumbles lost and 5 interceptions, you are always putting your team in a spot to win football games, and that is what Daniel Jones has done. The way that he has evolved into being a player that takes care of the football. Who would have thought a guy that had 20 fumbles his rookie year has been quite the transformation. Hats off to Daniel Jones. Him taking care of the rock is why the Giants, I think, can win a playoff game. We'll get to my other 3 keys to winning games in the playoffs here in a second. But first, we're subbing for Giants dubs. But we're subbing for playoff dubs. You want the Giants to win in the playoffs? Go down right now, hit that big red button. Join the family, join the channel. We put out videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors. And don't be that guy, don't be that lady that wakes up in Monday of next week and you're like, I just would have subscribed to that one damn YouTube channel with the guy with the widow's peak. The Giants would be playing in the divisional round. Don't be that person. Don't jinx it. Go down right now, hit that big red button. It's the New York Football Giants. We know what wins in the playoffs. Elite defensive line play. We saw it in 2007. We saw it in 2011. When you have game wreckers on the front 7, on the defensive side of the football, you can win any game in January and or February. And with the group that the Giants have up there right now, I could argue that they have the best front 4 in the National Football League. Kayvon Thibodeaux, Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Azeez Ojulari. You get 4 sacks from Thibodeaux, 7.5 from Dexter Lawrence, 2.5 from Leonard Williams, 5.5 in 7 games played this year from Azeez Ojulari. These guys are game wreckers, and that's what the Giants are going to need them to do when they match up with possibly the Minnesota Vikings or San Francisco 49ers in the wild card round. I need another big game from Kayvon Thibodeaux. Come out like you did against the Colts or like the Washington Commanders or football team or whatever damn team name they are. Come out, make a statement. Make a play in the backfield. You have guys like Dexter Lawrence, who in my opinion should be an all-pro player. Leonard Williams, you've never played in the playoffs. Make a statement. Make people remember who you are in the playoffs. And Azeez Ojulari, just get on the football field, because when you do, you make game-changing plays. Elite defensive line play is huge in the playoffs. The Giants have the dudes to make that happen. Another huge key to victory in the playoffs is good coaching and game management. We got Big Balls Dable on our side. In my opinion, the best rookie head coach, and in my opinion, he's done the best job coaching of any coach in the National Football League this year. He should be the coach of the year. But it's not just about Brian Dable. It's about Mike Kafka. It's about Wink Martindale. It's about the special teams. The Giants have a top 5 staff in the NFL. I truly, truly believe that. And that's what wins you games. You know what else wins you games? Game management. And you know what happens when you have good teams, coached by good coaches and good game management? You win games in one-score games, and that is what the Giants have been doing all year long. So often we watch these playoff games that come down to the wire. A game-winning kick, a game-winning drive, the last play of the game. The Giants in one-score games this year are 8-3-1. They are built for this. They are built to play in January and February. That's why I have them winning football games. The most important thing, though, is playing your best when your best is needed. Winning in crunch time. Finding a way when it doesn't seem like it's possible. Just winning the damn game. And that is what the Giants have done time and time and time and time again. Daniel Jones, he's done it 5 times this year to be exact. 5 game-winning drives for Danny Dimes this season. He ain't Eli yet. Because when I used to watch Eli Manning, every single time he touched the ball in the fourth quarter and the Giants were down, I believed that they would come back and Eli would put together a game-winning drive. But I'm getting there with Daniel Jones. He's done it 5 times this year. He's done it against good teams. He did it against the Ravens. He did it against the Packers. Can't say the Packers aren't good anymore. They're about to make the playoffs. 5 game-winning drives for Daniel Jones. Take care of the football. Good defensive line play. Good coaching and being able to win in crunch time. You do those 4 things. 4 things that the Giants excel at, and they are going to end people's seasons this season. I can't freaking wait. I think the Giants are going to win a playoff game. I think they might win 2 playoff games. Anything can happen once you get into the dance. Even Coop. Coop might be able to leave with the hottest girl at the dance. You get your foot in there, you might walk out with a dime piece. Danny Dimes, he's going to be dropping them in the playoffs. Will the Giants win a playoff game? Sound off for me in the comments section. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I appreciate everyone, as always, for tuning in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We will be live Sunday for the game against the Eagles. But it's about playoff football now, baby. Who would have thought back when we were talking about Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal being selected in the top 10 of the NFL draft, Giants would be playing in the playoffs? Not me. I didn't think so. You didn't either. Make sure you subscribe. Sub for Giants Dubs. We'll see you later.